What's up, folks? Paul here, coming to you from Seattle on a very smoky Saturday, and I'm going to quickly recap the 7 items I've gotten back in the mail to start September. Lots of great stuff, some Hall of Famers, and then a couple of really interesting minor league / roller hockey guys to close it out. So let's get started. The first one is coming from Calgary, and it was a 4-4 in 28 days. And this comes from a very underrated scorer from the early 80s, Mike Rogers. We got the 80 OPG here. Here's an in-action, super action 1981 OPG, 1982 OPG on the Rangers, and finally an 84 Topps. Right, and basically, Mike Rogers played in both the World Hockey Association and the NHL, and he put up 3 straight seasons in the NHL of 100-plus points and was top 10 in scoring. 886 points in his career across both leagues, 2-time 40-goal scorer. Really a guy who was overshadowed because of so many other great scoring talents around that same time. But a great return from Mike Rogers. Then our next one is coming from Guelph, Ontario, 37 days. This is a 3 out of 2. It's from one of the greatest referees of all time, Andy Van Hellemond. So he signed that really nicely there. He put Hall of Fame 99 right there on this one. I sent him 2 of these Pro Set cards. This one just has his autograph. Still very nice. And he also threw in this Hall of Fame postcard. Paul, thanks for being a fan. Signed with also with the Hall of Fame inscription. That was a really cool thing to add there, for him to add. He's one of the greatest refs of all time. He's reffed in over 1,500 games from 1972 through 97. He reffed every Stanley Cup final almost from 1977 through 97. He was also the first ref to wear a helmet. That was in 1984, and then soon after that, all the refs started wearing helmets. So, pretty epic ref success. All right, next one, 3 of 3 in 42 days. Another guy from the early 80s, Dave Hunter. So this is a 79 OPG. It is an Edmonton Oiler card, so it looks like a Gretzky, but it's not. Dave Hunter. 82 OPG, and then finally a, what is this? In the Game franchises. This is from like 2005, where they put a bunch of players from this era into cards. So that came out really nicely. He was on the Edmonton Oilers when they first made the jump into the NHL, and Dave was around for 3 Stanley Cup championships, 84, 85, 87. Played with Gretzky early on in the existence of the Oilers in the NHL. Pretty good career, 746 games played, and a key contributor to the Oilers' success. So good to get this one back. Next up, here's a guy who won 4 Stanley Cups with the Montreal Canadiens. It came back in 19 days from Quebec, Mr. Phil Goyette. Really nice blue Sharpie signature there. On this Parkhurst reprint. He won 4 Stanley Cups on the Habs. And then here's a Ranger one. And those were his 2 main teams. During the expansion era, he went to the St. Louis Blues, was part of that 1970 finals team, and then he was an original Buffalo Sabre. So here's a 1970 OPG. Signed pretty nicely. And another interesting thing on the return envelope, he put a couple of interesting stickers on there. This is kind of fun. Great success. Thanks very much, Phil Goyette. Next up, another guy who won Stanley Cups with Montreal. This guy won 5 Stanley Cups. This is a 2 of 2 in 23 days care of the Montreal Canadiens, where he's an ambassador. Rejean Houle. So there's a 77 Topps. And here's a 78, 79 Topps right there. He's part of that 1970s Montreal Canadian dynasty. He won Stanley Cups in 71, 73. He went off to the WHA for a couple of years, came back, won 3 more cups to close out the 70s. All told, he had 635 games played, just over 400 points. He later became the general manager of the Canadiens in the mid-90s. He famously had to trade away Patrick Waugh after a pretty bad game in 1995, of course. Now here's where it gets interesting. 2 minor league returns now to close this out. Really interesting stuff. First one's coming from New Westminster, BC, just up the road from here. Came back in 25 days. It was a 4 of 4 from former minor league hockey player Ivan Matulik. So he's a Slovakian player who came here to North America to play for the Edmonton Oiler farm team. So here's him on the Cape Breton Oilers. This is a Pro Cards from, I think this is from 1989-90. So he played with that team, ended up on the Albany Choppers. He actually only played like 3 games, and then this team died off. But there's a 1990 Pro Cards of him on that team. And then he's a member of the Halifax Citadels in 1991-92, and this is the season when part of his nose was sliced off accidentally by a skate. Pretty infamous incident where the Zamboni actually scooped it up, and by the time he realized what happened, the Zamboni had already resurfaced the ice, and they had to dump out the slush, and they found his nose in there and sewed it back on. Pretty crazy story, so it happened on this team here, the Citadels. He also played 1 year for the Vancouver Voodoo, so of course I had to get my RHI custom done up. Very interesting career. He ended up going and playing over in Europe with the Cardiff Devils for quite a while. He also sent back this really cool note here. Pretty awesome. Hi, Paul. Welcome to the NHL, guys. I think referring to the Kraken. All the best, Ivan. So always great to get notes like this back from these guys. So awesome success. Thanks, Ivan Matulik. And then finally, this is from my Rhinos collection. So I grew up a San Jose Rhinos fan. And this guy here, Darren Colbourne, was one of the best players on that team. So he signed this, best wishes, Paul. Thanks for the memories, Darren Colbourne, 25. Him and Mark Wolf were the 2 main go-to guys for that team. They won the Murphy Cup in 1995. He also played for the Richmond Renegades. That's a team that was coached by Roy Sommer, the coach who ended up being the coach of the Rhinos. So he brought a lot of his players over from this team to play on the Rhinos. This one is, here's another team set card, which for some reason he signed this on the back. There it is there. This is the best part about this return. Like a lot of these other roller hockey guys, he wrote this amazing note right here. And I'll read it right now. It's incredible. Hey Paul, thanks for reaching out. Amazing memories of San Jose and our time with the Rhinos. I hope you and your family are well and making the best of this crazy world we now live in. I still remember the games inside the Shark Tank, but also the practices and camps we put on at Rollin' Ice. Great times with awesome fans and kids that loved to learn the game and have fun, what it's still all about. Thanks for the memories. All the best and take good care, Darren. This is a pretty significant letter because he's talking about great times with some awesome fans and kids that learned to love the game. That was me. I played for many years in my youth at Rollin' Ice. This was a facility at the Santa Clara County Fairgrounds, and a place where basically I played hockey all through high school. And I never actually had a Rhinos camp, but I remember the team used to practice there and stuff. Really awesome personal letter from Darren Colbourne. I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot, Darren, if you're watching this. And go Rhinos. So yeah, great stuff overall this week. Thanks for watching. Everybody on the West Coast, please stay safe with all this smoke here. Hopefully the next video will have a clearer view. And yeah, take care.